First contact's price. The Meridian's arrival in Earth's orbit was preceded by neither warning nor hostility. Their massive ships, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light itself, simply appeared one day in perfect geosynchronous orbit over every major city on Earth. Their message was simple. They needed humanity's help. Ambassador Elena Chen stood in the United Nations chamber, watching the holographic display of the Meridian representative, Consul Commander Vaxter. His crystalline form shifted colors as he spoke, a biological display that humanity's scanologists were still trying to decode. "The harvesters come," Vaxter's translated voice echoed through the chamber. "They consume worlds, strip them of resources, leave nothing but husks. We've been running for centuries, but our ships can no longer maintain their quantum matrices. We need sanctuary, and your world. Your world has resources we haven't seen in millennia." Elena studied the aliens' shifting patterns, noting how they seemed to pulse faster when he mentioned resources. Something didn't add up. "And in exchange for sanctuary?" she asked, keeping her voice neutral despite her suspicions. "We offer knowledge," Vaxter replied. "Faster than light travel. Energy manipulation. Quantum engineering. Everything we know, freely given to protect both our species." The deal seemed too good to be true, but the evidence the Meridians provided was compelling. Their technology was centuries beyond Earth's current capabilities. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would help. Over the next 6 months, Meridian ships became a common sight in Earth's skies. They worked alongside human engineers, supposedly helping to build planetary defense systems against the approaching harvesters. Their technology integrated seamlessly with Earth's infrastructure, improving everything from power generation to medical care. Elena, however, couldn't shake her unease. She noticed patterns in the Meridians' behavior. Their insistence on placing their quantum cores near major population centers, their careful questions about Earth's military response capabilities, their peculiar interest in human biology. It was Dr. James Watkins, a quantum physicist working on the integration project, who finally discovered the truth. He burst into Elena's office one night, his face pale with shock. "The quantum cores," he gasped, dropping a tablet on her desk. "They're not defense systems. They're weapons, but not against any harvesters. Against us." Elena studied the data, her worst fears confirmed. The Meridian cores were designed to emit a specific frequency that would disrupt human consciousness, essentially turning Earth's population into living processors for Meridian quantum computers. There were no harvesters coming. The Meridians themselves were the threat they had warned about. "How long?" Elena asked, her mind already racing through contingencies. 2 days before they achieve full integration," James replied. "Once that happens..." Elena stood, her decision made. She reached for a secure phone that connected directly to the Security Council. "This is Ambassador Chen. Initiate Protocol Omega. Authorization code. Phoenix Rising." Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed to life. While the Meridians had been studying humanity, humanity had been studying them. Every piece of technology they had shared had been carefully analyzed, every weakness documented. The Meridians thought they were dealing with a naive species taking its first steps into a larger universe. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "Should we confront them?" James asked, watching as Elena activated a holographic display showing military assets moving into position worldwide. "No," Elena replied, her expression grim. "Let them think they've won. Humanity's strength isn't in our technology or our weapons. It's in our patience, in our ability to see the long game." She looked up at the Meridian ships visible through her office window, their crystalline surfaces gleaming in the setting sun. They'll learn soon enough that betraying humanity's trust comes with a price, and it's a price they won't enjoy paying. As night fell over Earth, the Meridians continued their preparations, unaware that their intended victims were far from helpless. In secret bunkers and hidden facilities, humanity's real defensive capabilities stood ready. The next 48 hours would teach the galaxy an important lesson. Appearance of vulnerability was not the same as actual weakness, and humanity's extended hand of friendship, when bitten, could just as easily form a fist. The silent response. In the depths of the Himalayan mountains, beneath kilometers of rock and advanced shielding, General Sarah Martinez stood before a wall of holographic displays. Each screen showed a different Meridian installation across Earth, their crystalline structures pulsing with increasing frequency as they approached their final activation sequence. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady, despite the weight of humanity's fate resting on the next few hours. Colonel Yuki Tanaka stepped forward, his tablet projecting a global map filled with pulsing blue dots. "Operation Shadow Web is at 98% completion, General. Our quantum interference nodes are in place at every major Meridian facility. They have no idea we've modified their own technology against them." The plan was elegant in its simplicity. While the Meridians had been teaching humanity about quantum technology, Earth's scientists had made a crucial discovery. The crystalline beings weren't just using quantum mechanics. They were quantum mechanics embodied. Their consciousness existed in a delicate superposition of states, which made them incredibly powerful, but also surprisingly vulnerable. "Dr. Chen's latest update?" Sarah asked, referring to the ambassador's sister and one of Earth's leading quantum physicists. "She confirms our theory," Yuki replied. "The Meridian's consciousness transfer weapon can be reversed. When they attempt to convert human consciousness into quantum processing power, we can redirect the energy flow. Instead of us becoming their processors, they become ours," Sarah finished. She studied the tactical display, watching as the final pieces of humanity's countermeasure fell into place. And the civilian evacuation. Complete. Everyone within a 50-kilometer radius of major Meridian installations has been moved to secure facilities under the guise of integration celebration events. The Meridians bought it completely. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The aliens had underestimated humanity in the most fundamental way possible. They assumed that because humans weren't as technologically advanced, they weren't as intelligent. They had never considered that humanity's relative technological backwardness was a choice, not a limitation. The truth was, humanity had discovered quantum technology decades ago. But after seeing its destructive potential, they had chosen a slower, more controlled development path. The underground facilities across the planet weren't hastily constructed. They were part of a global defense network built over generations, hidden from not just the Meridians, but from humanity itself. 16 hours until they initiate their consciousness transfer, Yuki reported. Our agents inside their ships report they're practically giddy. They think they're about to turn humanity into their own personal quantum computing farm. Sarah moved to a secure communication terminal. "Connect me to all command centers," she ordered. The screen filled with faces of military leaders from every nation on Earth. For the first time in human history, the planet was truly united against a common threat. "Operation Shadow Web is go," she announced. "All units maintain current positions. Let them think they've won until the very last second. Remember, we're not just fighting for our survival. We're fighting to show the galaxy that humanity will not be preyed upon." As her words echoed through secure channels worldwide, humanity's true defensive grid hummed quietly beneath the surface. Quantum entanglement fields, consciousness protection barriers, and energy redirect systems stood ready. The Meridians thought they were springing a trap, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson about human ingenuity. In her office at the UN, Alina Chen watched the Meridian ships preparing for their final attack. Console Commander Vaxter had just finished another condescending speech about embracing the future together. She thought about all the worlds the Meridians had likely conquered this way, all the civilizations they had turned into living computer components. "Not this time," she whispered, touching the quantum shield generator disguised as a simple pendant around her neck. "Not Earth." As the hours ticked down, humanity waited in silent readiness. In labs and bunkers, On ships and in stations, they prepared to show the galaxy why appearances could be deceiving. The Meridians were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their military might. It was their ability to plan, to adapt, and to turn an enemy's strength into their greatest weakness. The trap was set, but it wasn't the trap the Meridians thought it was. And when it sprang, the galaxy would learn a vital lesson. Never mistake humanity's peaceful nature for weakness, because when pushed to defend themselves, humans could be more devastating than any aggressor could imagine. Guardians of the Weak. The Meridian attack began precisely at dawn, Greenwich Mean Time. Their quantum cores pulsed with blinding light as they initiated their consciousness transfer protocol. In their ships high above Earth, the crystalline beings vibrated with anticipation, ready to harvest another civilization into their living quantum network. Nothing happened. Console Commander Vaxter's crystalline form flickered with confusion as the status reports came in. The quantum cores were active, operating at full power, but no human minds were being converted. It was as if they were somehow protected. Impossible, he transmitted to his command staff. Their technology is primitive. They can't possibly. His transmission cut off as every quantum core on Earth simultaneously reversed polarity. The Meridian's own consciousness transfer beam turned back on itself, transformed by human quantum interference technology. Before they could react, the energy waves swept through their ships, their bodies, their very quantum matrices. In the Himalayan Command Center, General Martinez watched the events unfold on her tactical display. Status of Operation Shadowweb. Quantum containment fields holding at 100%, Colonel Tanaka reported. The Meridian consciousness transfer has been successfully redirected and contained. They're completely trapped in our quantum storage network. But victory wasn't their only goal. As the Meridian threat was neutralized on Earth, humanity revealed its true face to the galaxy. Hidden shipyards beneath Earth's oceans activated, releasing vessels that had been prepared for decades. These weren't the primitive chemical rockets the Meridians had observed. These were ships powered by zero-point energy, protected by quantum phase shields, armed with weapons that could unravel the fabric of space itself. Elena Chen stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Force flagship, Phoenix Rising, as it emerged from its underwater berth. Through the quantum-enhanced viewing screen, she could see the stunned faces of alien observers from a dozen different species who had come to witness what they thought would be humanity's fall. This is Ambassador Elena Chen of Earth. She broadcast on all frequencies, to all witnesses present, and to the galaxy at large. The Meridian threat has been neutralized. Their attempt to convert our population into quantum processors has failed. Their consciousness now resides in our containment facilities. She paused, letting the implications sink in. But this message isn't just for those who would threaten Earth. This message is for those who have suffered under Meridian aggression. We know you're out there. We've detected the quantum signature of their previous victims on dozens of worlds. And we want you to know, help is coming. The Earth Defense Fleet moved with precision that spoke of years of training. Ships jumped to quantum space, appearing near worlds that had fallen to the Meridians. On each planet, they found the same sight. Populations trapped in quantum processors, their consciousness imprisoned but not destroyed. On a small world in the Carina Arm, a species of beings that looked like bioluminescent butterflies had been trapped in quantum stasis for 3 centuries. Earth ships arrived, their crews armed with consciousness restoration technology. Within hours, the first of the imprisoned minds were being restored to their original bodies. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Humanity, the supposedly primitive species, revealed itself as the guardian that countless civilizations had needed. They hadn't developed their technology in secret out of fear, but out of wisdom. They had seen the destructive potential of rapid advancement and chosen a path of careful preparation instead. In his quantum prison, Vaxter watched in stunned dismay as his species' carefully constructed empire of enslaved minds crumbled. The humans hadn't just defeated them, They had systematically dismantled their entire method of conquest, and they had done it not through superior firepower or brutal force, but through patience, planning, and the precise application of turn technology. Why? He transmitted through his quantum containment field. Why maintain the deception? Why not simply destroy us when we first arrived? Elena stood before his quantum prison, her expression firm, but not cruel. Because that's not who we are. Humanity has had the capability to destroy potential threats for generations. But we chose a different path. We chose to be prepared without being paranoid, to be capable without being cruel. When you arrived, we hoped for genuine friendship. When you chose betrayal, we chose justice over vengeance. She gestured to a display showing freed civilizations being restored across the galaxy. This is humanity's true strength. Not our weapons or our technology, but our capacity to protect those who cannot protect themselves. To stand against those who would prey on the weak, not by becoming predators ourselves, but by becoming guardians. As news spread through the quantum channels that connected spacefaring civilizations, the galaxy began to understand. They had mistaken humanity's restraint for weakness, their careful development for primitive limitation. Now they saw the truth. Earth wasn't a primitive world ripe for conquest. It was a sentinel, watching, waiting, and ready to defend not just itself, but any species that needed protection. The nature of mercy. 1 month after the Meridian defeat, the newly formed Galactic Council convened in Earth's orbital diplomatic station. Representatives from 200 formerly enslaved species gathered to determine the fate of their former oppressors. The Meridians, still contained within quantum storage matrices, awaited their judgment. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the assembled council, her holographic display showing the complex quantum patterns that made up Meridian consciousness. As Earth's leading expert on quantum consciousness transfer, she had spent weeks studying their former enemies. "What we've discovered is remarkable," she explained, her voice carrying through the universal translators. "The Meridians' drive to consume and convert other species isn't purely malicious. It's written into their quantum structure, a desperate attempt to achieve stability in their degrading consciousness matrices." The revelation sent murmurs through the assembled delegates. A small, spider-like being from the Orion sector raised an appendage. "Are you suggesting they attacked us because they were dying?" "In a sense," Maya confirmed. "Their natural quantum state is degrading. Each consciousness transfer temporarily stabilized them, but required more and more energy, more and more minds, to maintain. They became predators because they saw no other way to survive." Ambassador Chen stepped forward, her expression thoughtful. "But we found a solution, haven't we, Doctor?" Maya nodded, bringing up another display. "Using a combination of human quantum engineering and technology adapted from various council species, we can stabilize their quantum matrices permanently. No more degradation, no more need for consciousness harvesting." The council chamber erupted in debate. Many representatives called for the Meridians' permanent imprisonment or dissolution. Others argued for rehabilitation. The discussion raged for hours until a quiet voice cut through the chaos. "Let me show you something," said Kai Anderson, a quantum technician who had been instrumental in developing the containment fields. He activated a central hologram, showing the quantum prison that held Console Commander Vaxter. "For the past month, we've been allowing the Meridians controlled access to our scientific database," Kai explained. "Watch their reaction to learning about alternative quantum stabilization methods." The hologram zoomed in on Vaxter's quantum pattern. As the scientific data flowed through his consciousness, his pattern shifted from chaotic desperation to something resembling shock, then grief, and finally to what the quantum analysts had identified as profound remorse. "They never knew there was another way," Kai said softly. "Their civilization developed quantum technology, but couldn't solve their own degradation. They became predators because they thought it was their only choice for survival." Elena stepped into the center of the chamber. The easy path would be to keep them imprisoned or to destroy them entirely. But humanity has always believed that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when to show mercy. She gestured to the quantum storage facilities. We propose rehabilitation. We can stabilize their quantum matrices, teach them alternative ways of existing, show them that cooperation yields better results than predation. Those who accept rehabilitation and demonstrate genuine reform could eventually be restored to physical form. The Council debated through 3 Earth days. In the end, they voted to accept humanity's proposal with conditions. The rehabilitation would be gradual, carefully monitored, and any restored meridians would be subject to strict oversight. Vaxter was chosen as the first subject. As Maya and her team prepared the stabilization procedure, Elena visited his quantum prison one last time. Why? His quantum signature pulsed with the question. After what we tried to do to your people, why offer us a chance? Because that's what makes us human, Elena replied. We understand darkness exists in the universe. We prepare for it. We defend against it, but we don't let it define us. True power isn't in causing harm. It's in having the ability to cause harm and choosing not to. The stabilization process began. Vaxter's quantum pattern shifted, stabilized, transformed. As his consciousness settled into its new, stable form, the galaxy witnessed something unprecedented: the rehabilitation of a species that had been thought irredeemably hostile. Throughout the process, humanity maintained its vigilance. The orbital defense platforms remained active. The quantum containment field stayed powered. The fleet stood ready. But alongside the weapons and shields, hospitals were built, research centers established, cooperation treaties signed. The galaxy began to understand that humanity's greatest weapon had never been their hidden technology or their tactical brilliance. It was their fundamental belief that even in the darkest corners of space, hope and redemption were possible. They had prepared for war while working for peace, developed weapons while advancing medicine. And now, in victory, they chose healing over vengeance. A new dawn. 5 years after the Meridian incident, the galaxy had transformed. The orbital platforms above Earth, once purely military installations, now housed the galaxy's most advanced research facilities. Scientists from thousands of worlds collaborated there, sharing knowledge and advancing technology at an unprecedented rate. Admiral Elena Chen, recently promoted to head of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, stood at the window of her office in the Orbital Command Center, watching ships from dozens of species arrive for the 5th Annual Galactic Scientific Congress. Among them was a crystalline vessel that still caused some observers to pause. A Meridian ship, but one on a very different mission from those 5 years ago. The Meridian delegation has arrived, her AI assistant announced. Console Leader Vaxter requests a moment of your time before the opening ceremony. Elena smiled at the irony. Vaxter, once their would-be conqueror, now served as the lead researcher in quantum consciousness studies. His experience of rehabilitation had transformed him into one of the strongest advocates for peaceful scientific advancement in the galaxy. The former console commander's crystalline form shimmered with subtle blues and greens, colors that human synopsychologists had learned indicated peaceful intentions, as he entered her office. Admiral Chen, he greeted, his quantum matrix humming in stable harmonics. 5 years ago, I stood before you as an enemy. Today, I come with news that I believe validates humanity's choice of mercy over vengeance. He projected a holographic display showing complex quantum equations. My team has finally discovered why humans were naturally resistant to our consciousness transfer technology. Your species evolved with a unique quantum resonance pattern in your neural networks. It's not just protective, it's adaptive. Humanity isn't just resistant to quantum manipulation. You're capable of quantum evolution. Elena studied the equations, her eyes widening. You're saying humans are naturally quantum-capable beings. More than that, Vaxter's form pulsed with excitement. You're the missing link we've all been searching for. Your consciousness exists simultaneously in classical and quantum states. It's why your species could develop so quickly, adapt so readily. And most importantly, it's why you could understand and help stabilize our quantum matrices. The implications were staggering. Humanity's measured approach to technological development hadn't just been wisdom, it had been instinct. Their quantum nature had guided them to develop technology in harmony with their consciousness rather than racing ahead recklessly. The opening ceremony of the Congress that evening became a celebration of more than scientific achievement. Representatives from every known spacefaring race gathered to witness the announcement of a discovery that would reshape their understanding of consciousness itself. Dr. Maya Patel, now heading the Quantum Consciousness Research Division, took the stage alongside Baxter. Together, they presented their findings, a unified theory of consciousness that bridged the gap between organic and quantum existence. This discovery belongs to all of us, Maya announced to the assembled delegates. It was born from conflict but perfected through cooperation. It proves what humanity has always believed, that our greatest achievements come not from domination, but from understanding. In the years that followed, the galaxy entered a new golden age. The Meridians, once feared as cosmic predators, became teachers of quantum engineering. Their knowledge, combined with humanity's unique insights and the diverse perspectives of other species, led to breakthroughs that previous generations could barely imagine. The defense platforms remained, and humanity kept its vigilance. But they were no longer just Earth's guardians. They were protectors of a new galactic order based on cooperation and mutual advancement. In her final speech before retiring, Elena addressed a new generation of peacekeepers, both human and alien. 5 years ago, we showed the galaxy that humanity's strength lay not in our weapons, but in our wisdom, not in our power to destroy, but in our choice to protect and nurture. We proved that true advancement comes not from conquering others, but from lifting them up. She gestured to the stars visible through the station's quantum-enhanced viewport. Out there, other civilizations are taking their first steps into space. They will look up and see not conquerors waiting to prey on them, but guardians ready to welcome them. That is humanity's legacy. Not that we were powerful enough to defeat our enemies, but that we were wise enough to turn enemies into friends. As her words echoed through the station, a new ship class launched from Earth's shipyards. They weren't battleships or warships, but exploration vessels, staffed by mixed crews of humans and aliens, including rehabilitated Meridians. Their mission was not to conquer or defend, but to seek out emerging civilizations and offer them a hand in friendship. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humanity's greatest strength had never been their hidden technology or their defensive preparations. It was their fundamental understanding that true power lay not in the ability to take life, but in the wisdom to nurture it. In choosing to protect rather than dominate, to rehabilitate rather than punish, humanity had not just survived an alien threat. They had transformed it into an opportunity for all species to grow together. And so, as ships of all shapes and sizes sailed between the stars, they carried with them a new understanding. That the most powerful force in the universe wasn't quantum technology or consciousness transfer or even advanced weapons. It was the simple choice to extend a hand in friendship, even to former enemies, and the wisdom to know that peace, while harder to achieve than victory, was infinitely more valuable.